Hi students, we have another interesting topic which is acceleration. You know that in our daily life, while we are trying to move or try to drive a car or ride a horse or traveling by airplane, we are always changing our position, right? So if we are changing our position, then it means that we have speed or velocity, you can easily say. But what is acceleration? In all motions during a day, we are trying to change our speed. For example, sometimes we are decreasing our speed and sometimes we are increasing our speed. Sometimes we get faster and sometimes we get slower. So it means that speed is changing. It's not possible to maintain the speed constant all the time. While, for example, you are driving a car and you say that I will try to move with the constant speed and I will not change my speed. So is it possible? Of course not. So for example, if there's a red light, so you should stop the car. So it means that you should decrease the speed of the car. So I mean that in our daily life, we all the time try to change our speed. So if there is some change in speed, then there is an acceleration. Acceleration is represented by the letter of A, and it is equal to the change in speed or velocity, you can say, in a unit time. So while there is a change in velocity, it means there is acceleration. And if you want to find the acceleration, you should find the change in speed and divide it to the time duration. Okay, A equals delta V over delta T. So delta, this symbol is delta. That means change. Instead of writing the whole name, change in velocity, we write down only delta. So it means basically acceleration. Acceleration equals change in velocity divided by change in time. So this is our fundamental equation for acceleration. And let's try to talk about the unit for the acceleration. We already know that the unit for the speed is meter per second, meters times to the second power of minus 1. And the time has the unit of second. And then the acceleration has the unit meters times second to the power of minus 2. Okay, so this is the unit for the acceleration. And as we said that delta means the change. It means the change in velocity. So how do you find the change in velocity? If you want to find the change in any quantity, it means that you should subtract the initial value from the final value. So delta V means that V final minus V initial. For example, a car is traveling with the speed of 20 meters per second, and after some time it got to the 30 meters per second. So it is, what is the change in speed in this case? You should subtract 20 from 30. 30 minus 20, it is equal to 10 meters per second. So change in any quantity means that you should subtract the initial value from the final value. Let's substitute this in our original equation. So we got A equals V final minus V initial divided by time duration. Okay, so this is the basic equation for the acceleration. Now let's try to have some examples to understand the acceleration better. So let's try with the first one, example 1, and it says a car increases its speed from 20 meters per second to 30 meters per second in 4 seconds. Try to find out the acceleration. What is acceleration? Briefly, I write down like this. What's acceleration? And we already talked about the formula for the acceleration. Acceleration equals V final minus V initial divided by the time duration. And it equals V final. Here you see that our final speed is 30 meters per second minus Our initial speed is 20 meters per second, and the time duration required for this change is 4 seconds. Then it is 10 divided by 4 and it equals 2.5 meter per second square. Okay, let's try to have another example. Example 2 is coming if you are ready. So here we have a graph. You know that graphical representation is very beneficial and essential for the physics. So let's say that we have a velocity time graph. Here we have time, second, and let's say that the graph is something like this. Here we have 0, this is 12, and this one is 4, and this one is, let's say, 6. And for this problem, the question is find out what is the acceleration by using the graph. So let's try to find out what's the acceleration. We are going to use the same equation for this problem as well. So acceleration equals v final minus v initial divided by time. By the way, students, sometimes we write down delta in front of t and sometimes we don't write, but it is the same thing. Don't worry about that. I mean that you can easily write down delta if you want. If you do not want to write down, so you can use the t without delta sign. It is the same thing. I mean, it is the change in time duration. So let's try to put the values. What is v final in this case? So as you see, we started from 12. So this one is initial, right? We start from 12 and we decreased our speed to 4. So 4 is our final speed. 4 minus 12, the final one minus initial one, divided by the time needed. So we started from 0 and to the 6 seconds. So time duration is 6. And if you want, you can write down something like this: 6 minus 0. So minus 8 divided by 6, and it equals minus 4 over 3 meter per second square. So this is the acceleration. I thank you for your attention.